So the Object 257, and we're going to be starting to do these videos a little bit different. And by we, I mean me. Because I have a few comments of people that say, well, Max doesn't check the stats before he does anything, and this, that, and the other. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it's my opinion on the tank, but we're going to go and check out the stats. So onwards to the glorious Tomato GG website, where we can check out the stats of how the tank is performing over the last 30 days. And also overall, but over the last 30 days is what we really want to see. And if we go ahead and take a look at the tier 9 heavy tanks, you'll see that the most played is obviously the phase 1, sure, but the 257 is actually not that far behind. It's just behind the Conqueror, with only 17,000 games actually more played on the Conqueror compared to the 257, which on the EU server is not really that many games. If you go and compare it to the other Soviet tier 9 heavy tank, which is the T10, you'll see that it is even played more than that. Although, in my opinion, I much prefer the T10 over the 257. And the big one here that you want to be looking at, no matter whether this is against the Soviet ones or just in general, always be looking at win rate difference. Because this compares the win rate of what the players have who are playing the tank, but then comparing their win rate to what they are getting in that tank. And as you can see, the 257 is quite far down the list at minus 0.36%, which, to be completely honest with you, is about average. This is not good, not bad, it's just in the middle. If it was something like, you know, the minus 2% or plus 2%, then you know that that tank is performing a little bit either very, very good or very, very bad. So the 257 is just your average tier 9 heavy tank, from the stats anyway. And even if we go by average damage as well, which again is a very, very important factor that you should always look into, you'll see that 257 is actually so far down the bottom here at 1,250. This is actually only just above what you get in a Maltian. So although the win rate doesn't really show any difference, the DPG is really quite low. Now, it has been quite a while since I've played this vehicle, and when I went to go and have a look on TanksGG of what equipment I should use, I was kind of surprised. I mean, firstly, I was surprised when I scrolled down here and saw that it had a 50 km/h top speed. Obviously, I'm using a turbo with the field mod, which we'll get into in a second, that then boosts up to 59. But 50 km/h top speed base is rapid. But then I remembered that it was indeed a Soviet heavy tank, and the chance of it actually reaching that top speed are very slim. And I'm not going to go and deep dive into all the stats because that's not what this video is about. This isn't a review on the tank. This is just me talking about the tank and how I feel about it. But just know that what you would like to do during the field mods is to make sure you choose a left-hand field mod for the first one, forgo any track health, don't bother with hardening because it's just not worth it on this vehicle. And then you go left, right, and then for this last one, which is the very important one, sort of, you go for the top forward speed. Now, why I say this is sort of is because even though that, yes, it gives you more top speed, it will only be on hard terrain, which is tarmac, stuff like that. On grass and softer terrain, where it's medium terrain, you're still not that fast. I believe you're only going up to nearly 50. I think you're at like 48 kilometers an hour or something like that, or close to that either way. So it's not amazing, but if you are on hard terrain, then yes, this helps you out. So anyway, enough of all of this stats nonsense. Turbo, rammer, stab, that's what I'm using. And then for the secondary build, as you should probably know by now, I have swapped out the turbo for optics, just for Prokhorovka, only for Prokhorovka, and no other map. This means that we do get over 500 meters view range, which is nice. I mean, obviously you don't have CVS, but it's just nice to have that much view range, especially if someone does go out in the open, you should be able to spot them. But in general, 99% of the time, we're using this build. You have good enough view range, good enough top speed, even though that it's not quite there on medium terrain. And DPM is, I would describe this as fine. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's probably a little bit low in comparison to what you would like to have. And the other thing with this vehicle is that it doesn't get 330 heat like you would on the T10. Or is it even 340 heat on the T10? It's 340 heat on the T10. So just be warned that when you do come up against heavily armored tanks, 315 is more than enough for tier 9. More than enough. But when you do come against people like Mouses, Type 5 heavies, you have to make sure that you really do hit them flush. It can't be at any kind of angle. Anyway, finally, for the crew, we have the commander, the gunner, driver, and loader. Okay, so for the first game, we're on Overlord. Now, not a great map usually, however, there's no artillery. So this makes the map instantly more playable. As you can see, going downhill there, we actually picked up some decent speed. But once we go uphill a little bit, and we're on grass as well, it is not the best. The nicest thing about this vehicle is the armor, by far. You control so many people by just baiting them into shooting your side, and I believe if they go right here with heat, it will pen, but if they hit this, it won't pen, and then if they go below that, it won't pen. So you control a lot of people with your side, that you can just easily show your side. Reverse side scraping works quite well as well, but what you do need to watch out for is one, the gun depression, as you saw, but also you can get overmatched extremely easily in top of the turret. I can't remember exactly what caliber it is. I'll flash it on the screen now. But anything over that caliber, you will just get easily penned there. Every single time. So you can get overmatched super, super easily in the turret. And that is something you need to watch out for, because the biggest problem with... I don't know what he's doing. The biggest problem with this tank is that this turret actually goes downwards. It slopes downwards towards the gun. So even on flat ground, you can easily get shot there. Looking at the map, this isn't looking amazing. Ah, what a lovely experience playing World of Tanks. That is the other big problem of this vehicle, is the modules. It absolutely loves getting set on fire. And there's no real fix for this, because you kind of want to have the turbo, because otherwise you do kind of feel a bit slow. And the turbo is mainly not for the top speed. It's just to get the power to weight up, and also that medium power to weight up as well. As he's bouncing there, I can overmatch his like side skirts, I guess you could call them. He can actually overmatch my. He can actually overmatch my roof, but he's firing HE, so he won't overmatch that. But we can just afford to try and play like this. Obviously, to side scrape frontally is not a good idea at all, because this pike nose is very, very sharp, very pointy, and you will take a lot of damage from trying to side scrape. Not too sure what that guy was doing. Don't quite get the shot on the concept though. Where are you going, Mr. Concept? He went low as well. That is not... This is not the start that we've been wanting. That's really very, very bad for us that this guy just died here. Even with stab, this gun feels not great. Definitely not an amazing gun accuracy feeling. With the dispersion values anyway. Yeah, we're dead. Nothing we can do in that game. Literally nothing. We get set on fire with the first shot, and then that's it. The game's over. Well, now that I've shown you your average game in World of Tanks for the 257, yeah, maybe we can actually get a good game. This one shot, straight into here, no prior fuel tank damaged, first shot fire. The most dumbest mechanic in World of Tanks, right there. Along with one shot ammo racks as well. I mean, apart from that, you can see that you just can't side scrape in this tank. Like, at all. You can't try and side scrape. And the thing is, there wasn't really any room for me to not try to side scrape, because it's better to just either try and side scrape and hope they hit your side there, rather than hitting you here, than, you know, just, I don't know, trying to reverse side scrape and then you're facing around the wrong way anyway. So it's kind of annoying either way. There wasn't really too much I could do in that game, other than maybe spawning on the opposite team. Okay, for our next game, maybe this is a little bit better. We're on Erlenberg, which is a little bit of a better map, actually, for brawling. Overlord doesn't give you many choices in regards to actually fighting heavies. It's quite open, and if you can't really side scrape, not a lot you can do. Whereas with this map, at least, if you can side scrape, great. If you don't, then you can go hold down along the different ridge lines. I say ridge lines, but rubble piles, realistically. 5120 pushing that way as well. But what I'd like to do right at the very start of every single game I get on Erlenberg is just go here. Because what this does, easy shots on people that are pushing this. You can get the tracking shot. And then maybe, just maybe, you get a second one as well if someone does want to try and peek across. And then from here, you can either go to where that Carnarvon is, or if that's occupied, you just resume taking this position. This guy is actually still peeking. Oh, hello. One into the KV4 as well. So yeah, this position is lovely. It's a really, really nice position. I don't know what this... I don't really know what he's doing, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have no clue. His repair crew is half decent though, so he definitely does have that. Does this KV4 want to peek again? He does. Thank you. Very good. I love people like this. You know, they give you the opportunity and they say, yeah, Max, you know what? Please, shoot me again. I should have actually waited until I was loaded to pick that. There's a little bit of a misplay there. But we've already done the amount of damage that we done beforehand, which is, well, it wasn't hard, was it? Let's now see if we can get into a better position here, because what I would like to do is to try and kill that 5120 if we can. Help out this guy as well. What we can do is just push up to here. See if we can get a shot on this guy. Spotted a Kunzerpanzer apparently. Quite impressive. I spotted him all the way through that. The KV4 might even be around here somewhere as well. I'm surprised that the 50 TP hasn't shot this guy. I think he's doing it now. Yeah. Or G-Saw as well. Hello. But I don't think we're going to be able to get a shot on you. The RT is right there, but no shot on him either. Okay, let's see if we can... we just angle like this. We might be able to get a shot on this guy. Again, the fuel tanks are here. This thing really, really loves taking module damage. Like, an excessive amount of module damage. If I could, then I'd put config on it, but honestly, it doesn't have enough equipment slots. Like, you can't get rid of the rammer, you can't get rid of the turbo, and you can't get rid of the stab. Like, the turbo is what makes this thing good. And the stab and rammer are just there because you need them. This got knocked down here, so I think that the Scorpion G is around there somewhere. You can tell that these trees were knocked down going forwards, so going towards us, or going towards the 9-0 line. Ooh, this just got knocked down as well, so there's someone in there somewhere. Yeah, whichever way these are pointing is whichever way they got knocked down towards. So, or away from, I should say. There's an easy tip to learn if someone's in that bush, because chances are someone is in there. I mean, we have more than enough shells at the moment to be blind firing a few. If we hit some, great. If we don't hit some, that's fine. Be interesting to see where this G-Saw's gone though. Our team's actually pushing up over the other flank as well, so we are going to win this game. If we don't end up winning this game, then that's worrying. But again, I can't really push through too far at the moment. I might actually go across the bridge and then come down and around that way. I think that's the best play to do at the moment. If we go around to where the Carnarvon is, we won't go through here, we'll go around all the way. Because that's the safest play, because there's still people like the Kunzerpanzer, the Progetto that could spot us as we cross. So it's always better to go a little bit further away, and then you're safe from crossing this side here. Oh, Jesus! What is the the WZ111. This is recorded on the Friday. Friday the 15th. This is when the WZ111 was on sale for 10 million credits. I guarantee you he bought that. Because there is not many people that would play a WZ111. Most of the people that get a WZ111 trade it in for something because of its high gold value. And his positioning there tells me that he probably doesn't have a clue about what he's doing. Moving around this way though, we might be able to get a shot on these people over here. One into him. This is really good actually. Really, really nice that we're in this position. Because what we can do from here as well is then start to farm this Kunzerpanzer as well. You know what the best thing about this tank is? Probably the standard rounds. They're not high pen, but they're super, super nice shell velocity for a heavy tank. It almost reminds me like the 260. Where it's kind of derpy, like either way, because it's a bit heavy tank. But the standard rounds are really, really fast. And to be honest with you, it's not got high pen, but it's enough pen to deal with those tanks that you would want to be shooting at range. Unless it's a heavy tank, obviously, but most of the time when you're shooting at range, you're shooting something that's kind of fast. So, you know, medium tanks, light tanks, stuff like that, where it's actually worthwhile. Put one in and then quickly turn my turret. I'm well aware that we're a little bit slow there doing that, but... Oh! What are you doing? Why are you up here? Oh, we are so dead here. I was not expecting a Lorraine there. Well, I mean, I'm surprised he is still alive, if I'm being honest, but we have nobody to shoot them, apparently. What happened to this side of the map? I was under the assumption that there were still people over this side. How did they all die? To a WZ and friends. I think we're losing this game. But when I saw our position and what we were pushing to, and we had this, everywhere was claimed. Like, that's mental that we lost that. Well, I mean, we had a good game. I have no idea what happened to my team, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, so for our third and final game, we're on Mountain Pass. We're going to go to the left-hand side. I believe I banned this map on my main account, but I don't have What Plus on the press account. For obvious reasons. You can't access the store and stuff like that. But so I can't have a third map ban. I believe at the moment I have maybe Airfield and something else banned, but I have no idea, to be honest with you, without checking. So either way, Mountain Pass is not usually a map that I play too often. I think that it's very stale, very stagnant. You don't really have many opportunities to do a lot, and most of the time it ends up in a hole down, like slinging a load of shit at each other for no reason, to be honest. It's not a fun map. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of fun maps in this game, but in particular, Mountain Pass is very, very unfun at times. What is going on here? I mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, that's one way of peeking, Mr. TS54. Speaking of What Plus. Is this 50 TP going to peak again? We can't actually push all the way down here. The reason being is that if I do push, I'll probably get shot by this and then the 50 TP as I'm pushing down. But also, I'll probably take one in the side as well. So it's not really... Oh, goes low. Even if it did go straight, I'm not entirely sure if it will pen. Yeah, I don't even want to... This guy behind me is not having a fun... Oh, it's a WZ111. That explains everything. Yeah, I'm not exactly trusting my team, like the Forest Spirit and friends. They may be good players, but I've learnt my lesson that I should never ever trust my teammates in this game. What is this, like, lick my panzer or whatever it's called? Okay, right. You know what? We're now going to push down. I don't know whether or not this guy just fired, but either way, those other two have gone back. So we can push up. We can then be aggressive. We now have the SD1 up there, so I can't get shot from the balcony area. Which is the main, honestly, the biggest threat. It would be really, really quite good if this guy could die, though. Nice. And now let's try and do a little bit of reverse side scraping. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's attempt number 2 at that, shall we? There we go. All the other health is over the other side of the map, so we're just going to bomb it over this way. It's 9-0. The game's over. This is another typical World of Tanks game. You try your best, and you just see how much damage you can get, but game's over in 3 minutes. Or less than 3 minutes, so... But I mean, overall, I don't really know how I feel about the 257 in general, because it is one of those tanks where it's you would describe it as idiot proof, right? But not for the reason like you're driving it and nobody can pen it. It's idiot proof because you would have to be an idiot to not know how to pen it. So it's kind of idiot proof in that sense. Maybe not quite the usual terminology for what idiot proof means, but if you get what I mean. Like if you meet someone who is a noob, and you are in a 257, they will not pen you because they don't know anything about the game and they will just bounce. You meet someone who has played a few thousand games, they probably know about this tank, especially if they played tier 9. So yeah, nothing great, honestly. I mean, none of our team really had a great game, and the enemy team definitely didn't have a great game. You know what? I think that stats-wise, it's pretty accurate. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just in the middle tank. It just kind of exists. Anyway, that was a 257. See you on the next one.